Hello again. I am back for I think number 5 of my Valentine's heart Zentangles. And this one is kind of cool. I will definitely have a step-by-step on how to do this this design, this pattern, because it can be a little bit confusing. And especially it's going to be confusing because I'm going to go use it as a border around the heart. So it's going to be hard for you to see exactly what's going on. But we will start here, and it's going to actually, what it is like a little ruffle that goes around. That's really cute. And I'm going to actually kind of leave the center of this blank so that you can write something in the middle. So let's start with the pattern. And it's kind of a simple pattern when it's broken down. And it's one of those patterns that kind of looks really bad until the very end when it comes together. So if you're trying this, like, be patient with it and wait till you get to the end when it's finished, and suddenly it'll be like, oh my gosh, it's a ruffle. And until then, it just looks like a really bad zigzaggy line. So what we're going to do is we start with like a line, and we scoop in and scoop out, scoop in and scoop out. So we'll do this pretty much all the way around. And then the same thing, continue. And it's kind of in a step pattern too. So the top one is a little bit shorter than the bottom. I say one like that means anything to you. One of these little curves, these little swiggly lines, I don't know what you would call it, little arms. So I see how it just kind of looks like a bunch of weird squiggly lines so far. Almost looks Aztec-y or something. An Aztec pattern. And this definitely doesn't need to be perfect, because it's going to be ruffles, which are never quite perfect, are they? Not exactly the same. The one thing that you want to try to do is have a little space. Make the curve big enough to where you have a little space in between. Because we're going to be adding like a little line like this on all of them. And if they don't all, because they won't all, I know several of mine aren't really big enough curves to make those little lines, but don't sweat it. You won't even like really see those in the end. This one definitely got a little wonky on the end there, but when you come around full circle and you have to meet up, you're always going to have to struggle with how to, make those two match up. Sometimes it works out really nicely, and sometimes you kind of have to fudge it a little bit. But anyway, now we have our basic, weird looking squiggle. The next thing we need to do is, like I said, put all those little lines in coming off of, let's start up here. So coming off of each curve straight down. So each tip of a curve is going to get a little line coming straight down from it. And straight down onto the next level. And you're still not going to be seeing much. It still looks very weird. Sort of, kind of looking ruffleish. A little bit more than it was anyway. But still kind of crazy. And you want to go right from, as much as you can, the end of the curve down, and not from like the middle of the curve. Because this is what is making our squiggles look like folds of fabric. So this is kind of like the back side of the fabric as it's being folded in space. All right, and next is where it all comes together, and suddenly it's like, ruffle! Okay, so what we do next is we draw a line from the inside of the curve all the way down, and all the way down to the outline of the heart. So from the inside, we did it from the outside. Whoop, you can't even see that. We did it from the outside, now we're going to do it from the inside. And all the way down on both curves. My hand is completely in the way of doing these, so I'll start on this, do this direction so you can see. Now, do you see, like, it's incredible to me when this does this, just drawing and drawing in 3D. Like immediately it goes from semi-ruffleish looking weird squiggles to ruffles. Definitely, positively ruffles. I think that is really cool. It's actually easier to do the lines from the top down, but since it's harder for me to turn the paper around while I'm doing the video, I just kind of make do with however I can make lines. And you can do it either way. Just sometimes when you're going from the bottom up, your aim is not exactly on to hit the curve of the ruffle, I suppose. Yay, ruffle! And then one last thing that you can do to even give more of an effect of the folded fabric is just do like some little crinkle. Just as if the fabric was kind of crinkled up inside of the ruffle. And this part is not really necessary, but I like that it gives it that extra touch of ruffleness. And if you, I've been doing it and not even saying anything. I'm just basically making 3 little marks, and the middle one being a little bit taller than the others. I'm going to make a couple little marks there. It's going around the curve. There. Is that cool? Ruffle. And then to make it even more so and give it more of the 3D is you can go and do the shading, which will shade in all these little backs of the fabric. And depending on how much time you have and or patience in doing the shading and everything, you can stop at any time. You don't need to do any shading. You can do full-on shading. You can just do this little part here and stop. So good, whatever you feel like at the time. Perfect. And then the next step in the shading, if you want to do that, is to shade where the folds are. Because this fabric is going to be behind, so it's going to be in shadow a little bit. And just a little bit. This is where you have to have kind of a light hand with the pencil, because if you make too dark of a mark or you bring the shadow out too much, it will just kind of darken the whole part and you'll lose the effect. We just want a little bit shadowed right where the fold is. And if you notice, I am also doing the center of these little ruffles in the middle here. That's the same one that I put the little crinkle in. Those I'm putting a little bit more shadow in too, because you're going to be, one, it's behind, and two, where that crinkle is, it's going to have some shadows. I am completely blocking with my hand. Sometimes it's very hard to get the angle right to be able to actually draw and have it be able to be seen on the video. There. It just doesn't get much more ruffle looking than that. I mean, okay, it can, but not in the time frame and skill level we're working on here. So that's pretty much where I'm going to leave this, although I am going to show you, if you want to write something inside, you could just write something straight across, but I kind of like to have it like a little bit curved, like it's going along the shape of the heart. So if you want to do that, I would just take like a pencil and just kind of make like a little curve. Doesn't have to be perfect, just to give you kind of a guideline as you're writing stuff. And then you can write whatever you want in the middle. Let's see. I am going to write then we'll erase our, I'm not sure if the ink is completely dry yet, so I don't want to mark all the way across or erase all the way across and smear it. And if you want, you can shade around the heart too. When you do shading around like this, it really is better to blend it somehow. And if you don't have a blending stump or tortillon, just you can use your finger, which works perfectly well. So you can just take and just your finger bit of contouring around there. So that's it on this one. A little bit simpler in a way of a pattern, and leaves a nice canvas for you to write a message on. This would be good for a card or something like that. Anyway, so that is it for this video. I may be able to get to another quick one. Anyway, so that's it. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe so that you can get notified when I put more videos out. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.